we say that this is the words of God, that's obviously invoking a different definition for like wahi, for example. So we're just saying that there's a dispensation that through the Spirit these authors receive to write on matters of faith and morals contextualized by a Bible.
That's the church fathers are telling you. Bible didn't say that.
I mean,
Bible just clearly says that.
Yeah, but the Quran doesn't say many things. That doesn't mean it's incorrect just because it doesn't say things.
The Prophet say that.
I mean, you go to the Sahaba, right?
Prophet say that.
So, for example, the
Sahaba,
Quran doesn't tell you how many times to pray. It doesn't tell you that.
Muhammad Sallallahu says.
There you go. You have to go outside.
No,
so
no,
if you have to go outside the Quran to find it,
it's not outside.
the context here is the point you raised was that because the Bible doesn't say something, therefore it's not true. Therefore, if I apply that same context to your Quran, it falls apart.
No, it's not saying that.
Like, for example, it's
our yardstick is Allah and His Prophet.
God.
Your yardstick is God the Father and Jesus. Your yardstick, if it's the other people, then I'm going to put them on the pedestal and see how wrong they were and how right they were. Our yardstick is not the companions.
It is.
No, they're not.
Without the companions, what do you know about the Sunnah? Nothing.
I can show you the Quran. Allah says,
the Quran ain't enough.
Obey Allah and obey the messengers and the leaders among yourselves. But if you disagree among yourselves, come back to who? Allah and His Messenger.
Okay.
So our yardstick is Allah and His
So
Messenger.
Allah, His Messenger, and the Sahaba often contradict. Okay? So you're still hopeless. You're hopeless. I'm saying that. You're hopeless still.
Your word.
Because I can show you bits in the Quran and then bits of actions that Muhammad did, and then when Muhammad wasn't alive anymore, his Sahaba did something completely different.
Okay.
So they often contradict each other. So all of the quadrants you're told to go to in order to gain knowledge can all be wrong.
The difference between me and you is your yardstick is stretched to scholars and church fathers. My yardstick is Allah and His. My yardstick is Allah and His Messenger.
Well, what exactly is wrong? Okay, what is wrong with saying that I appeal to the church, which is in communion with Jesus Christ?
But I'm saying they can be wrong. They are fallible human beings.
So if we assume if we assume that according to Matthew 16 verse 8
Matthew 16 verse 12 all the way to 16.
Gotcha. It gives the binding and loosing authority to Peter, and according to my church tradition, ordered the apostles who received the keys in order to dogmatize statements at synods and at councils. For example, 2 bishops need to be present at the council in order to dogmatize issues of theology. Now, the reason why we believe in this is because Christ has given them authority to bind things on earth as they would do in heaven. So we're taking from the Bible a tradition of the church, and we follow this church tradition outlined within the Bible.
And here's where Jesus said it. Now, I give you the keys to the kingdom and the kingdom of heaven.
What's that? Matthew
This
16?
is Matthew 16:19. I give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. And whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. He's talking to his disciples. Peter.
And through Peter, the apostles.
What is the keys to the kingdom of heaven?
He just told you
the ability and loosing authority.
There you go.
No, keys to the kingdom of heaven is following the right path, follow the true path.
Well, no.
Follow Jesus' path.
No.
Yes, you follow His path, you got the keys to the kingdom of heaven. That's what we do. We follow the Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We follow the straight path.
You have to prove that your interpretation is valid.
Because you understand that the binding and loosing authority is a typology within King David when he is given the binding and loosing authority in his kingdom to do whatever he speaks of in the kingdom will actually occur. Right?
When you say the keys of the kingdom of heaven is
a typology. A typology of David.
What is typology again?
A typology is like a type or an example that will later, or like a reflection that will later manifest itself in a different way. For example, a famous one is when Jesus talks about being put on the or being lifted up, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. Both those two things are like distinct.
Okay.
But they have a mirroring. Whereas the people in the wilderness lifted up the serpents to be healed, lifting up Jesus onto the cross is also how we receive our healing. That's all.
That's typology.
That's a typology. So in the same way,
their understanding of the old scriptures and the new scriptures.
The way in which the occurrences from the past reflect those in the future. Yes.
So how that is related to Timothy?
So if this authority is given to Peter and all the disciples, then therefore that would also mean that they have the ability to give those out to other people as well.
So who wrote Timothy?
So therefore, if Timothy is written by Timothy, I think it's Timothy.
Yeah.
Might
Timothy?
be, look.
Was he a disciple of Jesus?
Timothy was a disciple of, I believe, Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you mean exactly?
Paul was not a disciple of Jesus.
You believe in.
To Acts, he was the
Yeah, well, according to his own words.
You believe no.
When
Acts
Jesus-
on his words.
When Jesus was talking
Acts is
about
Paul-
when
Luke.
Jesus was talking
Acts is
about that
Luke.
in Matthew,
Acts
Yep.
is
was Paul was there.
Paul was not there,
Okay, he wasn't
but
there.
Paul is also included in this. For example, when
Why
Paul-
is he included in that?
he's included in that because he
Who
was
included?
visited and given to the gospel by directly Jesus Christ.
No, who said that?
Jesus,
That's
so,
the word
so,
of
so
God.
Paul. Well, so just because
The one who contradicted himself
hold
3
on,
times in the
because
book of Acts.
because somebody says something, that doesn't then mean it's invalid. For example, Aisha is the one who narrates Muhammad in the cave. Muhammad himself doesn't narrate him in the cave.
Try to find defense in
Because
Find
I'm
defense.
showing you,
Are you not proud
I'm
of your
showing
own
you.
Bible, your own
So
belief?
being part of the Bible does not mean that when you
Paul
raise a
is
point
saying
and
that
a
he met
principle,
Jesus on
I
the
can
way.
show you the fault in your
Paul-
principle by
Paul-
showing you that in your own tradition, if you apply the same principle, that if the person in
Can
question
we-
doesn't narrate
Can we
something,
deal
so
with the
therefore,
Bible
if
first?
Muhammad does not
Okay,
narrate
let
the
me-
occurrence in the
let-
cave,
let's talk
then the
about-
occurrence in the cave is invalid. Muhammad doesn't do that.
Talking
Only
more-
Aisha
talking
does.
more doesn't make
So
it
then
valid.
that means that your own principle doesn't
Talking
work
more doesn't make
because
it
if you apply it to Islam,
Talking more doesn't-
Islam falls apart.
I know it hurts. I know it hurts when you're exposed. Or
I know it hurts
exposed.
when you're being told
Paul-
things
Paul
that unfortunately
is
get you to
not
question
a
your own religion.
disciple of Jesus according to Jesus.
Okay.
He's not.
Then
He, by
if
his
you're
own-
gonna make
let
that
me speak,
claim-
let me speak. He by himself, he says, I met Jesus and he chose me. We do not believe his words. We believe what Jesus' disciples to him. We believe in their words. If Peter says something like that, maybe it's more valid. So Paul himself contradicts even the book of Acts. He says how he met Jesus. The whole circumstances contradict with each other. He say, I heard one place and I didn't see.
You're
Other
wrong.
place He say, I see, I didn't hear.
You're wrong.
So I didn't hear.
Paul doesn't say that. You're wrong.
Yes,
He
Paul
doesn't say
Paul
that.
did contradict
You're wrong. He
the
doesn't
book
say
of
that.
Acts. He did.
You're wrong.
And
Pull it up and show me you're wrong. I know you're wrong. Because Paul himself doesn't say he didn't see and hear. The men who were with him.
and he was standing there.
That's the difference.
And did he correct them? Did he say, oh, no, don't lie,
No.
don't lie?
Okay.
No, did he say
Let
that,
me
don't
show
lie?
you how you're wrong. Let me show you how you're wrong. Bring up the verse. Let me show you how you're wrong. It's just really easy.
The question still stands there. Who made Paul a disciple?
Jesus himself.
He himself made him. No.
Yep.
Jesus didn't.
He did.
That
He met him on the road to Damascus. He said, "Why are you persecuting me?" And then he sent him into Damascus in order then for him to have the scales from his eyes removed. So you're referencing Acts 9 and I believe Acts 22. So which one do you want, 9 or 22? You get 9, I'll get 22.
Okay. Acts 9.
I'll get 22.
Actually, I can show a clear lie of Paul. Clear lie. And I'm not saying as an insult. I'm sure saying.
So Acts
that it
Acts
appears
9,
like an-
Acts 9 from verse 3.
Can I read it?
Yep.
Now as he journeyed, he approached Damascus, and suddenly a light from heaven flashed about him. And he fell to the ground, and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? And he said, Who are you, Lord? And he said, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. But rise and enter the city, and where it says, does he clarify that he hear and not see?
Well, carry on and see.
Okay. And he said, Who are you, Lord? And he said, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. But rise and enter the city, and you will be told what you are to do. The men who are traveling with him stood speechless, hearing the voice, but seeing no one.
Okay.
So rose
no, that's
from the ground.
the part there.
Yeah, okay.
That's the
Now-
part.
Now this is
So-
Luke quoting this, yeah?
So listen very carefully.
Luke is the writer.
In
about
Acts 9, yes, root like all of Acts. Now listen very carefully. In Acts 9, it says the following. The men who were traveling with him stood speechless, hearing the voice, but seeing no one. This is the point of contention here. Now, in Acts 22, from 6 to 16, it says the following. So, Paul says again, As I was on my way and drew near to Damascus, about noon, a great light from heaven suddenly shone on me. And I fell to the ground, and I heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And I answered, Who are you, Lord? Acts 22. No, stay on the other one, stay on the other one. And I answered, Who are you, Lord? And he said, I am Jesus of Nazareth, who you are persecuting. Now, those who were with me saw the light, but did not understand the voice of the one who was speaking. So how are those two contradictory?
So Paul is saying
That
those who were with me,
that they saw the light, but did not understand the voice of who was speaking.
so they heard the voice.
They heard the voice, but did not
But they
understand
didn't-
it.
Okay. Now here it says that they didn't hear anybody. Did you say that? Where-
There, up. The men who were traveling with me stood speechless,
Hearing
hearing
the
the voice,
but
but seeing no one.
So they-
Here it says they saw the lights. So now, those who were traveling
they
with
saw
me,
something.
they saw the lights.
So they saw something.
Hold on a second. They saw the lights, but did not understand the voice. Here,
What is
they
this?
saw no one. So you can see a light and not see the person in the lights. Simple as that. The light is not a person. If I see the light of the light of the sun is not a person. So I can see the sun, but I see no one. Simple as that.
So why he didn't say that they see the light but didn't see no one?
You are saying that these two things are contradictory. Somebody can give a story with levels of detail. What is in Acts 9 and in Acts 22 do not contradict each other because they maintain that the people saw a light and not a person and heard a voice but don't understand what it said. Simple as that.
Listen, I'm a Muslim.
So you are wrong on that regard. Now
No,
to the Quran.
Listen to me.
To the Quran.
Listen to me.
I've done you. Now go to the
no,
Quran.
I admit that
Now go
that
to the Quran.
contradiction was not a contradiction. I admit. I'm a seeker.
All of
I'm
yours
a
are
Muslim, I'm
contradictions.
Muslim. That's not a contradiction.
Let me show you one in the Quran.
What about if I show you the lie of Paul, clear lie?
You've had your chance. Now I'm going to show you that the
Then I'm going
Quran
to
can be
show
trusted.
you a lie of Paul.
No worries.
No worries. You show me. What are you going to show me? Contradiction.
So, yep.
Okay.
Well, a logical contradiction.